So let's go to the SQS service or simple queue service. So we are in the UI and we click on Get Started Now. So something I want you to notice is that in the Paris region that I am in, I only get this one page with one option. Turns out if you go to the US East North Virginia, you're going to get a slightly different UI, which is what type of queue do you need, standard queue or FIFO queue. We haven't seen what FIFO queue is right now, we'll see this in the next lecture, but for now, let's all use North Virginia so we have the same UI, and let's select standard queue. So the queue name is going to be my first queue, and will be in the US East North Virginia region. So now as we can see, it just summarizes everything I told you in the past lecture, which is we get unlimited throughput, so we can get very high volume of transactions per second. We get at least once delivery, so sometimes there'll be duplicates, best effort ordering, and so as we can see, the messages are in this big pipe and there may be different orders, and sometimes, for example, number 3, there's some duplicates. And so it tells you the use cases for this, decoupling, requests from whatever, from background work, batch messages, and so on. So we have this standard queue, and so we can click, instead of clicking on Quick Create Queue, we're going to click on Configure Queue, and we get all the parameters that we've seen from before. So we have the default visibility timeout, and so to remind you, this is how long we have to process and delete that message before other consumers can see it. So we'll leave it at 30 seconds, which is the default. We have the message retention period, which is first 4 days by default, but we can set it between 1 minute and 14 days. So this is how long the message should live in my queue before being deleted on its own. The max message size, 256 kilobyte is fine, but you can decrease it if you wanted to. The delivery delay, so how long the messages should wait before being visible by consumers. So by default is 0 seconds, so that means as soon as we send a message to the queue, it's going to be visible, but you can delay your messages up to 15 minutes. And then this is the receive message wait time or long polling. And so we can set a value between 0 and 20 seconds by default for the queue. And so if we set, for example, 20 seconds here, then we're going to be in a long polling type of setting. And so this will decrease cost and increase efficiency. Here we can set a redrive policy for the dead letter queue. So if I say yes, use a redrive policy, we have to specify a dead letter queue. So for now, I will not do it because we haven't created a dead letter queue yet. And we can set the number of maximum received, so how many times a message should be tried to be processed before it goes to dead letter queue. I'll untick this because we don't have a dead letter queue for now. Server-side encryption settings, this is when you want to use encryption using KMS. We haven't seen this, but it is an option available. And so overall, from the previous lectures, it seems like we've seen all these parameters except the server-side encryption that we'll see in the advanced lecture. But that makes sense for us now using these diagrams that we've seen before, and all these parameters make a lot of sense. So we'll click on Create Queue, and simply we have my first queue being created. Now this is the UI when you've created a queue, and so as you can see, we get a URL in HTTPS, and we get an ARN, so the Amazon resource name. We can see all the parameters that we've set from before, and so on. We can look at different tabs to see, the permissions, the redrive policy, the monitoring, the encryption, etc. We will not do this for now. If we go on queue action, we're able to send a message, we'll do in a second, view and delete messages, but also reconfigure the queue if you wanted to change a few parameters. Purge queue, which is going to completely delete all the messages in the queue, and delete queue, which is going to delete the queue altogether. So this is it for our queue. From the UI, we also can see this is a standard queue as opposed to a FIFO queue. And we can have messages available on the queue, so we can see how many messages are waiting to be processed, and messages in flight, how many messages have been pulled by consumer but not deleted yet. So let's go ahead and we're going to right click and send a message. Now we are going to send the first message, and as you can see, we can enter the text of a message that we want, so we'll say, hello world. And we're able to delay the delivery of this message if we wanted to by up to 15 minutes. So in case we wanted to do a delay queue. For now, I don't want to delay my message, I want it to appear right away. We're also able to set message attributes. So we can say, okay, this is the name of my message, and we say first message. but you could set whatever you want. We can click on add attributes and set as many attributes as we want. This is not mandatory, this is just optional, but we have the option right here in the UI to send attributes. So this looks great. We have hello world and with one attribute. So what I'm going to do is send that message. Now the message has been sent, and as we can see from it, we get a message identifier. So this is the ID of my message, and this is the MD5, so it's a hash of my message body, and then the hash of my messages attributes. So we get these three things back from the queue if we wanted to store that into a database, for example. We could send another message or close. I will just close it. Now in the UI, something changed. We have one message available in the queue. So if we go ahead and now click, right click and say view delete messages, we're basically going to simulate a consumer. And so we can start polling for messages, but we get a big warning message which says, hey, if you start polling for messages, the message will come from the front of the queue, and the message displayed in this console will not be visible for other consumers. So be careful when you do this in production, because if you start polling for messages, then you may impact your production application. And then it says if you click on stop now, we'll stop polling. So let's say don't show this again because we understand the risk, and we'll say start polling for messages. And so as you can see, we just saw our first hello world, and we can see that this is the content, and the size of it is 12 bytes when it was sent and how many times it was received. So right now, because this is the first time we receive that message, the receive count is 1. But if we fail to process it, that message, and receive it again, it will be 2. So let's have a look. I'll just stop now for this one, and then I'll start polling for messages again. And so now the receive count is 2. So that means that we failed to process it once, and now we get the second chance to process it. So this is where it's going to impact for the redrive policy, and if it goes to a dead letter queue. I can click on more details and get all the information around my message. So I have my message body, hello world. We get the message ID just from before, the sender account ID if we needed to, and then how many times it's been received, first received, and how many attributes I have. If I click on message attributes, I can see my name and my value for the attributes. Okay, this looks great. I'll close it. Now we are at 3 receive counts. So I'll start polling for messages. And so now we have 4 receive counts, so quite a lot. Let's process our message. And so we say, okay, we've seen hello world. We're processing it for whatever our application is doing. Now I click on delete, and I will delete that message. Yes, delete check messages, and now we're done. So that message is gone from the SQS queue, and it will not be able to be retrieved ever again. So we purposely said, okay, that message has been processed, it's been saved somewhere or whatever we did with it, and now we cannot receive that message. Now, something you should know is that if you click on start polling for messages, you see at the bottom this blue bar, waiting. Well, it's basically doing long polling. And so we're polling the queue, but not every 30 milliseconds. We're polling it from time to time, and this basically allows us to keep our cost under control. So let's stop this, and I'm going to close this window. And now we can see that from the one message we had available, we have now 0 messages available and 0 messages implied because we processed it. And so yeah, that was just the basics of SQS.